Dr. Parik, I'll immediately jump into this question that, since last, I would say world over, everyone, and in India also, everyone has been talking about the economic impact of, the COVID-19 and what it is meaning. But we are not talking about something which is really affecting. For the first time in a world where we know what is happening, we are all facing uncertainty. And now, especially in India, with the lockdown, 21 days lockdown, there's so much of uncertainty. There is a sense of isolation, and there is, we don't know what is going to happen. Please tell us about how do you see it from the lens of psychiatry, from the lens of mental health?
See, a couple of points straight away. The fact is, uncertainty is a reality of the moment. And uncertainty would bring you anxieties. That's a normal human response, whether it is the anxiety about your health, because the fact is, any one of us can get the illness. It's a pandemic, it's happening worldwide. So that's one anxiety. The anxiety that how do you realign, readjust your life in a lockdown that we've never learned, never been prepared for, never taught. I'm much older than most of you put together, certainly the two of you put together, Manoj and Shraddha. So your collective age crosses is still less than mine.
No, doctor, we look younger.
So none of us has had any kind of experience, training, reading of something of this magnitude and so unprecedented. And yes, it brings uncertainty, financial, economic, jobs, family. You put all this together, how do you not be anxious? I have been saying this for a few days, accept the anxiety, because accepting the anxiety is also being emotionally intelligent. I'm not denying my anxiety. I'm not saying I'm not worried at all. Of course, I'm worried. How can I not be worried in a situation like this? Now it's up to me as to how do I utilize this anxiety in my life, which is required for a short duration. I think that's the key. The only cognitive aspect here is, can we make ourselves understand this is a cross section, the 70, 80-year lifespan, we are going to go through a 20 to 30, 40 days of trouble and struggle. We all know, like most pandemics which are infectious, this is going to end. We don't know when, we don't know how. So we accept the anxiety. Coming to the other part of what you said, which I think is very important, to me, a pandemic is about mental health.
Yeah.
Because the impact of mental health, the aftermath, especially of mental health, is going to be far bigger than what we are in a position to understand right now. I understand that right now we need to focus on the virus, the physical treatment, the tests, the kits, and the isolation, but we need to understand what happens post this. The anxieties that will be triggered into this, the way we look at life from here on, the economic fallout, the job fallout, all of this put together. So I think it's important that whilst we do go ahead with our fight against the coronavirus, we on a parallel track keep our focus on mental health outcomes also, because we don't want one pandemic to convert into another. And that's my key worry.
Yeah, so doctor, the question, and this, we got some questions, and this is one question which has repeatedly come, is that how do you deal with it on a day-to-day basis, and especially now that everyone is locked in, right, inside our homes? How do you manage this?
You accept it. You first accept it. You don't fight it. You don't try to find a way or a reason to get out of your home thinking that it won't affect you. You don't let yourself believe that the world is all about you. You don't let yourself believe that you are essential to the world beyond all other things. No, we are not. Yeah. That's why we are doing a webinar. So you accept it. There's no point denying this. And the fact is, it's for a short time. I find it almost ironical that we are even discussing work from home. And I've been taking webinars on work from home, so many of them, that, that stress is probably going to get into me. Because if you wake up in my sleep, I'll start giving you tips on how to work from home.
Even we had Dr. Parekh make videos for us for work from home.
17 videos in one day, Manoj, 17. I still remember the number. So my point is that accept it. See, all this while, all these years, if I look at the last decade of working with corporate India, working with various people at work, what has been the consistent thing? Consistent thing was we don't have time, we have poor work-life balance, we don't get time for family, we don't get time for ourselves. This is the most common feedback that all of us have heard from people working. Now, suddenly when we have time for ourselves, for our family, now we are looking at the opposite side because we were so maladjusted to a lifestyle that was so pathological in its own way that now that withdrawal is also causing us trouble. In fact, there is so much good coming out of this if you want to be positive and optimist, and I'm an eternal optimist. I feel it'll bring families closer. Fine, you'll have a bit more arguments and you might be with your siblings more than what you want to be. But the fact is, these are your connections. If ever a society needed to know how interdependent it is, this is how interdependent we are. So if I decide to cross the boundary, the Lakshman Rekha, as the Prime Minister called it, and if I go out and meet Manoj, I might infect him. That's how interdependent we are. And if I decide to stay at home and be responsible, I can make him safe. Similarly, if I use social media to give positivity, positive stories, motivate each other, connect with each other, all those people who are living by themselves and isolated, I spend time with them, I do video calls, and for a change, even trolling on Twitter is less. So maybe, on the other side, we would have lost a large percentage of trolling.
Yeah. Yeah. Dr. Parekh, please let me go on record to say that you are exuding so much of positivity that we are feeling very assured. Thank you so much. A question which has come is that one of the symptoms for corona is that you get breathing problem, and one of the symptoms also for panic attacks and anxiety is getting breathlessness. How do you differentiate, and how do you deal with it?
2-3 aspects to this. An infection doesn't come only with breathlessness. There are many other symptoms. That's more important. Most of them are physical. And you are looking at a variety of other symptoms where you have, it's an acute, sudden, episodic anxiety lasting for a few minutes, maybe to 45 minutes or so, going away on its own. It's very different than the dyspnea that you are talking about. But if in doubt, you talk to an expert. Right now, teleconsultation is happening across the country by your doctors, your GPs, your physicians, your psychiatrists, every doctor is available. If you feel that you are not sure, you call up. But the fact is, you would know because there will be other symptoms: constant worrying, not being able to sleep, feeling restless, feeling something's going to happen to me, in absence of symptoms, being preoccupied about symptoms. In fact, I just was having a conversation with somebody and I told him that, can you please stop reading about it? Stop researching about it. Doctors don't know much about it. What are you going to find that is going to be any different? And come across a blog that might claim that if just go out and take some juice out of some bark and then do something with it, and then may put some other picture into it and then have it, and probably it is going to take care of immunity. It's not happening.
Dr. Parekh, adrak is the word on the street.
Yeah, a lot more, from the adraks to the aloe veras to the gilvas. All sorts of, I have no issues. Please feel free to take what you want to take, as long as you don't spread the false message.
Dr. Parekh, there is this question which is, you talked about acceptance, right? Like you accept it, and many people are asking this question, that when you have severe anxiety or panic attacks, acceptance does not come easy, because you can't think of the possibility that something bad could happen to you or your near and dear ones. What is the coping strategy for that?
No, Shraddha, two very, very different things. When I say acceptance, I'm talking about acceptance of the worry, of the related to the anxiety, of the uncertainty of going through these times, change lifestyle, and the worry around it. That's one kind of uncertainty, right? That you accept. When it comes to panic anxiety, please understand at the end of the day, it's a sub disorder. So under the umbrella of anxiety disorders, panic disorder is one type of a disorder. So for example, in anxiety disorders, you have generalized anxiety disorders, phobic illnesses, panic disorder. Now these illnesses happen because of certain neurotransmitter imbalances. So if I were to have low serotonin, I may be prone into having depression or anxiety. And if I have those symptoms, then I take proper medical treatment. So if I were a panic disorder patient, I need to meet up with a doctor.
Yeah.
So I'm accepting that I have the illness and now I take treatment for it. The acceptance I'm talking about is about the situation. That in this situation, there are certain things in my control, certain things not in my control.
Yeah.
I have not brought the pandemic to the world. None of us have. And lockdown is happening because I need to take care of myself and my family. If I don't do that, this will become a bigger problem. Now, those things which are policies, advisories, guidelines are not in my control. What's in my control is how happy can I stay within my own walls?
Yeah. Yeah. So to that, doctor, the question is that there is heterogeneity in people's circumstances, because many of the people, and especially here in Bangalore, all these metro cities, they live alone. They are away from their families. And at this time, there is a lot more stress because your family is away, you are away. Any suggestion to deal with this?
See, I'm going to answer this like I would have answered it had these not been the corona times, right? Our sense of isolation and need has become a bit more given the walls that we find ourselves within. But let's not try to believe that if any one of us was living alone, away from our family, in a different city, it would have been a lot very different, because those voids would have been there as well. How would you have taken care of those voids? By the work that you do, by the friends that you have, by staying in touch with your family. All these things you can still do. You can still work from home and use social media, use internet, use video calls, use lots of calls and messages. In any case, most of us send most embarrassing WhatsApp messages and jokes and forwards to each other, which typically do not really make much sense. And some of them are really not very funny as well. But keep sending them. So surely you can use the same mechanisms to stay in touch with people. It's about staying connected.
So Shraddha, one thing I'd like to just, this is just anecdotal, I'm not a mental health expert. One thing we do at MyHR with all the teams is we always have morning calls for the entire team so that the entire team gets together, wishes each other. It's not necessarily about organizing work for the day that happens in some teams. We connect with each other during the day. We're always on chat so that nobody feels alone. And we also always have an end of day call so the entire team says goodbye, good night to each other. So that's with the hope that nobody feels isolated and that somebody's always there. And then each team leader kind of takes care of their own sub team as well outside of these bigger team calls. So we've kind of just structured it so that everybody feels like there is a support system and nobody is going to be alone no matter what happens.
Yeah. Add on to that, Manoj, I will just add one more thing. That in these morning team meetings, you should ask people to be formally dressed.
So it's Dr. Parekh, I work with a lot of young people. So you were saying earlier, you're substantially younger than you. These are kids who are probably half my age. I started with insisting that they all shower and show up for team meetings. So formal clothing is probably a little bit.
No, I think it really helps what Dr. Parekh is saying, because I do that every morning and it just makes you feel, just good.
Following a routine is again something that I've tried to just request everybody that. So I insist we all start at 9. It's not because if you don't start at 9, we're going to fall behind work, but it forces people to set into a routine.
Yeah.
That's very important. And in fact, when I mentioned that in workflow, so the whole logic behind that is that I'm just going to use an example that I give to children. Those children who struggle with examinations, have those blackouts, get very anxious. How do you help them prepare for an examination? So we tell them do self-tests in the exam environment. So you put 2 chairs in your own room, tell nobody to disturb you, wear your school uniform, take a computer printout, time yourself, give yourself marks in red ink. Same thing applies to all of us because some of these things are conditioned. Sometimes the fact that you are in your shorts or your pajamas doesn't let your brain start functioning. The fact that you are sitting on your bed and trying to work from home, your brain's actually not conditioned. So the brain gets confused. Do I switch on or do I switch off? So in my case, and by the time you reach my age, everybody you work with is half your age. So what is happening in my team? So what we've done is we have our call 9 in the morning, then a couple of calls that keep on happening through the day. But throughout the day, you have to be in formal wear. So what we've ensured. So well, now you want to do formal wear with or without shower, that's your call.
Some very interesting questions are coming, Dr. Parekh. But one I have to tell you, because you've told about at your age. So some of the people have written that you look very young. So
that's good. See, in modern day filters and the filter and all the techniques available and the lighting available, I've been told to use the lighting in a certain way and wear certain clothes in a certain way and use colors and all these greens that are put here just to mask my age and use my face straight enough so that you can't see that there's only hair that you can see. There's nothing else out there. So I'm old enough. I mean, I'm 20 years into practice. And in psychiatry, 20 years feels like almost 100. So I'm a fossil.
No, doctor. So, the one question, very interesting question, and is some of us are addicted. We have some kind of addiction, and now, because you're locked down and locked in, so for 2-3 weeks, and you're going through withdrawal symptoms, how do you cope with that?
It's an opportunity. Use it. Opportunity, use it. Hydrate yourself well. If the withdrawals are significant, talk to a doctor, because for some withdrawals, you may actually need some medical support. But I would seriously say I'm a very firm believer of saying no to substances every time and always. I do not believe in the concept of social use of substances. I think there's nothing social about it. So that's how I see it. But use the opportunity. But if there are significant symptoms like sleep impairment, tremulousness, palpitations, GI symptoms, nausea, and you feel it's really not working and you feel a lot of physical distress, I'd suggest you talk to a doctor because you may require a bit of a medical support.
Okay. Doctor, so this question is from, I forgot her name. So the question is that my kids have become stubborn. Now that we are at home, kids have become stubborn and they are constantly in front of the TV or playing video games. How do you manage that? How do you deal with that and stay calm?
Actually, 2 aspects to this. I think we need to be fair here to children. The fact is they can't go out. The fact is they can't meet their friends. The fact is we don't want them to be going out and playing because it may not be very safe for them given the fact that the virus can be picked up from any place. You use this as a break where they can do what they want. The only difference that you can do is if you can find something that is more stimulating, give it a shot. If your child shows interest in, let's say, some creative arts or music or something like that, encourage your child to do that. I would also encourage your child to talk to his or her friends. In fact, in a day or two, you'll have an e-reader, which is 21 tips for parents for the 21 days of our lockdown of how to engage your child. And the key word is engage. But I wouldn't want you to force switching off television and then making your child just sit at one place and do nothing. That will only make them more and more rattled. And again, and typically children do feel that some of us or most of us, by the time we reach this age, that we are from a different planet altogether. So you don't need to make them feel like that. And children also struggle. It's a different thing for them. Lots of things have happened. We don't know what time schools will start, what curriculum, what will be this curriculum style, what will be the vacation time, when will the exam results come. All these things are there. If all of us adults are also struggling, children struggle in their own way. And a child how they are. If I wouldn't push them right now.
Doctor, what are the symptoms of panic disorder? Because many are writing that we are experiencing shortness of breath, though we don't have fever, body ache, and cough. So, how do you figure out you have panic disorder or anxiety attack?
So panic disorder is a type of an anxiety disorder in which you have frequent panic attacks. And because you are having frequent panic attacks, your mind starts worrying about the next panic attack, which forces the mind to bring a change. So if, example, I'm having panic attacks in a closed space, I say I will not go there. Or if I'm having panic attacks in a workplace, I will not go there. And that's typically how panic attack happens. And a lot of panic attacks in panic disorder are what we call as unprovoked or without any stimulus. So that's why people worry, and they typically end up visiting cardiac doctors because they think it might be a cardiac origin. Most panic attack people actually end up visiting cardiac experts. So what is a panic attack? It's a sudden episode of anxiety on its own. Typically lasts about 45 minutes plus minus. You can have a variety of symptoms put together: restlessness, palpitation, breathlessness, choking, dryness of mouth, butterflies in the stomach, a bit of tremulousness, giddiness, nausea, GI symptoms, weakness in the legs, feeling that, oh God, something's happening to me. Thoughts that this might be a fatal illness, thoughts that it might having a mental breakdown, and it typically comes as an episode and goes away as an episode as well.
Okay. Doctor, again, a lot of question on kids. Kids are anxious because many could not write their exams. And how do you deal with that? Because they are depressed, they are alone in the room. So how do you deal with that?
I would let children do what they want. I honestly believe that this is the time you let them do what they want. If they want to watch television, so be it. I'll encourage board games, family board games. This is a good time. I'll encourage them to pick up a creative hobby that they are interested in. I'll facilitate that. I'll make them read together with them. I'll play some games with them. And yes, if they want to watch their cartoons and their films, I'll let them do that.
This question again, and I think this is running in everyone's mind, is how can one not be anxious when there is economic uncertainty ahead? We cannot separate the immediate future from our mind. In fact, Doctor, yesterday there was a very interesting question. I thought it was a very thoughtful question. Someone asked, how should I know that my employer is going to fire me? Right? So these kind of questions, there's so many uncertainties like people are thinking about.
Honest answer is we don't know. And sometimes it's important to be honest. The honest answer is I am anxious. I'm anxious as a human being, in spite of the fact that I'm a mental health professional and I'm trained to deal with anxiety. But I'm anxious because I am supposed to be anxious about something which normally would give me anxiety. To give you an example, if there is a fire at my home, I will not do deep breathing relaxation exercises to ignore it. I will run the hell out of the place. And then I'll seek help to douse the fire. That's how you deal with it. And that's anxiety. That anxiety is a real anxiety. You don't pop in a pill and say, okay, chalo, main so jata hu, the fire will take care of itself. That's not going to happen. Similarly, right now, we don't have answers. I don't know how would the economy be in the next few days or next few weeks. What I know is this current situation cannot last long enough. The better we perform collectively as a society, this would be gone. Can we predict what will happen on the other side? No. But if we stick together, if we stay honest to ourselves, if we give ourselves the time, most of the people listening here are people who've succeeded in their lives by the efforts they have put themselves.
Yeah.
Most of them have gone through all odds and have succeeded. Do not allow yourself to believe that one setback, and this is not a personal setback, this is a setback that mankind across countries is experiencing. It's a collective setback. It's not that somebody is better off than anybody else here.
Yeah.
We're all going through this. We will all come out of this. You maintain your self-belief no matter what, because this is not about individuals.
Yeah, doctor, is there any therapy one can learn, so Tushar is asking something that I can learn and teach my friends and family. Is there something we can?
Why would you want to learn a therapy, Tushar? Music, poetry, art, maybe dance together, positivity, positive. There are so many other things to do. Therapy may seem very nice on television shows, come on my side of the world. And then you might feel, how are you, going through this? You don't need to learn something to teach someone. We all have our own experiences. We all have our own strengths. We don't need to get something else. I have one expertise, but I do not know most other things. And that's life. None of us is supposed to be an all-rounder who bats, bowls, wicket keeps, and also is the umpire, and also is the scorekeeper, and also is the captain, and also does everything else. It's not a 1970s film where only one hero gets all the 15 awards and everybody else is clapping.
So one thing I'd like to add here is also what you can take up yoga. There are lots of easy, self-taught yoga sequences on YouTube. Take one if you guys want. We're very happy to share yoga sequences.
Manoj, you should share that, right? Because it has changed you so much. So why don't you put it out?
I'll do that. So in fact, a lot of my friends were saying I should start a daily morning live session with a yoga practice. So that's something I'm working on. So I'm not a licensed yoga teacher, so I don't want to start teaching yoga. So I'm talking with a yoga teacher to start doing a live from his or her place. So that's something I'm actually working on.
Okay.
So as with always, I don't want to be giving mental health tips. That's why we have Dr. Parekh here. Similarly, I don't want to be teaching yoga when I'm not the expert on it. I can practice, but I can't teach.
Yeah. So Dr. Parekh, you were saying that music, dance, do things together. So, and that brings me to this question: that do music, dance, and all these things help when you're anxious, when you are stressed?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Yeah. Okay.
Without a doubt, they do. They help in various ways. They help you to relax. They bring a sense of pleasure. The rhythmicity of music in itself helps you relax in its own way. I mean, keep this lockdown, this 20, 30 days, 40 days, maybe a few weeks here or there, time period out. If you would have asked me how do I de-stress and relax, it's listening to music. I know that when I had a long day, a tough day, half an hour of Pandit Jasraj and I'm back on track.
So, Doctor, question there, even for myself, is any music good? Anything I enjoy, or certain genres of music are good?
I think anything you enjoy. It will be nice if the beats are not very fast if you are trying to relax. Because if the beats are very, very fast and you're looking at something loud and pumpy and fast, it may actually sometimes increase the autonomic hyperactivity. But otherwise, frankly, everything goes. My only thing is it'll be nice if the lyrics are nice and not embarrassing.
So Dr. Gumaluri is asking a question: why work from home is more stressful than going and working at office? I think all of us are asking this question. Many.
Yes, when most people used to come to me 6 months back saying, wish there was at least 1 or 2 days extra to work from home. This is the same society that has been talking about why should we not have 5-day week? Why should we not have 9 to 5? Why should we be working from, need to carry work home and so on and so forth. We've been asked to adjust to something that we were not prepared for. That's about it. I don't think it's anything more than that. And here you have very little option. At work, when you work from your workplace, you also have the option to gossip, to do nothing, and just sit there and do nothing and just walk. There is so much work that is piled on, and then try and do a little bit more work, and then gossip again. And 4 or 5 hour work becomes 9-10 hour work. Then you go home saying, oh my God, I had such a long day. Now, all that has been taken away from you. You can't complain about commute. You can't complain about traffic jam. All the other complaints are gone. You have very little to complain about. So now we are complaining about work from home.
Tej Kapoor is asking, how do you keep yourself happy? Given you are dealing with same 4 walls every day, also a lot of bad news. Actually, we're just seeing bad news. What are some other ideas other than exercise, reading books, and the usuals to keep
My
yourself?
colleagues in media would not like what I'm going to say now, but I'll go ahead and still say it. Don't watch news.
Yeah, exactly. Don't watch news. I was going to say that's the same thing we were talking about yesterday. Yes, Shraddha. Do not
Yeah.
watch news.
You don't need to be, I mean, in any case, don't watch it 24/7. And this applies to online as well. You want to stay updated, but you don't need to make it become a preoccupation. There's a big difference between them. I'm informed, but I'm not preoccupied. You asked about happiness. I don't want to sound philosophical. Frankly, it doesn't quite matter. It could have been anywhere else, any other place. Happiness is within, like how satisfaction is within. We need to learn to accept this. I mean, when people come to me with even, let's say, job related issues, colleague related issues, I first ask them that first figure it out, is it you or is it somebody else? Because a lot of times our problems are coming from within. Surely we can find the happiness of spending a little bit more time with our own family. I mean, surely that should not be that tough a thing. And surely the fact that we don't have to commute and spend hours in traffic, and instead of that we can listen to some music, surely that means something. And yes, there is uncertainty and anxiety, it will be on the back of our minds, but the here is in our control. That we need to understand. You can give me the uncertain future, I can't do anything about it, but you can't take away my ability to play my playlist that gives me a sense of joy.
So one thing I'd like to just add here, Shraddha, it's also because it's directly related with the work that we do, which is giving accurate medical information. One thing I would highly recommend is, like Doctor said, please stay informed, don't stay preoccupied. Every day at 4 o'clock, there is a Ministry of Health update that goes live. You can watch it on PIB's YouTube channel. You can watch it on ANI's YouTube channel. It's a 30-minute update. You'll learn everything that is there to know about the spread of the pandemic in India, and it'll be completely free of any sort of fear mongering or any sort of antics to increase TRPs. Right. So I mean, I'll repeat the Varun Grover quote that I shared with you a couple of days back. हमारी जो मीडिया है ना, वो सिर्फ माचिस नहीं लगाती है, वो बारूद भी लेके आती है. राइट. और अभी पूरा जुलाई 4 या दिवाली सेलिब्रेशन चल रहा है.
Yeah, Manoj, on your behalf, I'll also tell everyone viewing this that go to My Upchar, because Manoj and his team, he has a very able team, and they are putting the most relevant medical information on Corona every day. So please look at My Upchar, myupchar.com, right?
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. So, Dr. Parekh, going to a therapist is not affordable. Many people are writing that, and accessible. How can we solve that? You know, doctors, you all are expensive people.
We are not. We are not. We'd like to believe that we are not. I don't think therapy in India is, if you compare it to the worldwide, is that expensive. I don't think so. Yes, but it can't be a generic comment, because cost will also depend upon the individual, their own finances, and one needs to be sensitive about this. I also feel that everybody doesn't need therapy, but at the same time, there are helplines, at least for crisis. We run a helpline. We run a 24/7 helpline, which supports people in about 14 odd languages that we speak. And if you so happen to be a Gujarati caller, I might well end up taking that call. And because yes, and in fact for My Upchar, I have recorded a few Gujarati videos. My first in 20 years. My teachers back home in Civil Hospital Ahmedabad and my professors just totally loved it, except the fact that they feel that 20 years of living in Delhi, after my 10 years of Ahmedabad education, has made a mess of my Gujarati, which is true. I think we need to, if you need help, you take help, right? We have various kinds of setups in our country. Our government system, our government healthcare is a very robust, effective system. I fundamentally believe that most people working in the government setup, their knowledge, their ability is remarkable. because they are also constantly into academics. So if I would have an issue on affordability, without hesitation, I'll go to somebody in that setup. Even in the private setup, there are going to be variety of kind of people. And now there is online therapy available. We also provide for online therapy during, right? In fact, right now, because of the lockdown, all my consultations I'm doing right now, I'm doing video consults, because we don't want families coming to the hospital, crowding it, and putting themselves and their families at risk. So one needs to look at it more from a perspective, um, because for different people it'll be a bit different. But by and large in India, mental health right now is not very expensive.
You know, Dr. Parekh, this question has come many a times from different people, and if you could just give us practical steps to deal with panic. Of course, we should call the doctor, but if we are having panic disorder, because there are many cases people are writing, my fiance is staying in same city but I can't meet him. Someone is talking about staying with the kids, staying with elder parents, so a lot of different scenarios. But if I get breathlessness and if I am feeling anxious, then what do I do? Some practical step.
So first of all, if you have not had a history or a long-standing anxiety, and you are talking about anxiety that you are experiencing right now because of these very situations, you do not have a panic disorder. That's your anxiety, which is as normal as it gets, maybe a little bit more, but it's transient, cross-sectional, and it will go away. For this, you distract your mind a little bit, talk to someone whom you find relaxing and comforting, physically change your location, go to some other room, have a glass of water, do a bit of breathing. You don't need, this is not a disorder. Disorder has a longitudinal axis. It's not cross-sectional related to something. So don't see it like that.
Thank you, doctor. This is very assuring to hear this. Again, very funny question. Working, what should husband and wives do at home together now without getting into each other's nerves? In fact, I have to tell you this, that on Twitter right now, I just got a message from a divorced lawyer that a lot of queries have come in the last 2 weeks. Like the queries for divorce have risen up. So what do you do in such situations?
So I'll react as it comes to my mind. I think it's unfortunate that even in humor, we can think that families, couples, parents, children, siblings, if they spend more time, they'll fight more. I think even in jest, it just sounds very sad to me. I just feel that life is all about people. And if I can spend more time with my brother, with my sister, with my parents, would give anything for that. But at the same time, I think it's also important that all of us need to understand this is not just for couples, it's for teenagers and their parents, it's for families like mine who are in a joint system with a lot of us being together at home. Everybody is going through the same anxiety. Everybody is feeling similarly on the edge because of various uncertainties and various pressures, including financial and otherwise. So we are all slightly on the edge. So our reaction thresholds have become a bit wobbly. So for a smaller trigger, we may have a bigger reaction. I think giving each other space to react more is the right way forward. And that's why having a daily routine, which is a bit more rhythmic, not left unstructured, would actually, including your recreation time and me time. So if you balance that well, we'll go through this phase. So you'll get both kind of people coming to you. Those who are saying that we are fighting more because we are spending more time together. And then you'll also get those who will be saying that we haven't met each other, now we are fighting more. So, for both they need to learn to manage, because eventually, if you are going to make a relationship, it needs to be together.
What precautions does seizure disorder patient need to take at this time?
A seizure, Shraddha, I will let it be answered by a neurologist on some other platform. I'll stick to mental health.
Sorry, Shraddha, if I may, I saw a question pop up. Somebody said, how do I deal with stigma? I think that might be an interesting
Oh yeah, many people, and in fact, someone has suggested, do you think we need AI counselors because nobody will be able to see that we are seeing a therapist or a counselor?
AI will come. AI will come in the future. I think AI will come because of a variety of reasons. One reason being, look at the shortage in our country. We have almost an 800% shortage based on the WHO figures for mental health experts in our country. To us to be able to create a reach and outreach, the last mile connectivity, will probably need to figure out digital solutions to it. I don't think that there is any other way out to that. So that will happen. And as far as stigma is concerned,
sorry,
try to understand this. From where does this stigma come? I'll be brief, but you need to just understand. So, till almost 1950s, there weren't any medication for psychiatry. So people were doing all sorts of things that came to their mind. So the voodoos, the faith healers, the moons, and the amavases, and all these things started playing their role. Then some medications came for almost 20 years. Very few medications were there. They did not have a great side effect profile. So people thought if you take a psych medicine, it'll be forever. You'll become like a vegetable. You'll be over sedated, so on and so forth, which was partly true. And then after 70s, meds started becoming better. Now there are remarkable meds available. Most people can, with medications, drive, go to work, lead a normal life, and they're like anybody, right? So that's how it is. But we've had a long part where there was the problem, but neither an identification nor a solution. Also, at a societal level, we've had entertainment industry, which has for a long time not really showcased mental health issues very sensitively, ranging from comedy, satire, crime, violence. All of this has been somehow been falsely correlated, which has brought different kind of stigmas. But my solution to stigma is it starts from yourself. If you decide to be sensitive, you decide not to be stereotypical, not to discriminate anybody for mental health issues, and you ensure that your immediate social network continues to be responsible, we'll be able to fight the stigma. I don't think stigma is out there. Stigma is right in here. If we take the initiative, we can work. So most of you here are people who are coming from working backgrounds. Some of you are leaders in your organizations. If you value mental health outcomes, for all the people who talk about P&Ls and the EBITDAs and the graphs and the curves, how about mental health outcomes? What are your mental health outcomes as an organization? And what kind of space are you giving for mental health related issues? Stigma would go.
Sir, Shraddha, if I may, there's a question, sir, from my उपचार audience. It's a question in Hindi, so मैं इसको हिंदी में ही बोलूँगा.
हाँ.
लेकिन हमारे यहाँ लोग दिमागी हालत को बीमारी मानते ही हैं. लेकिन हमारे यहाँ लोग दिमागी हालत को बीमारी मानते ही नहीं. साइकियाट्रिस्ट के पास जाने का मतलब उनके लिए पागलों के डॉक्टर के पास जाना होता है. इसे कैसे बदल सकते हैं?
जब मैंने आज से 24 साल पहले अपनी मम्मी को बताया था कि मैं एक मनोचिकित्सक साइकियाट्रिस्ट बनना चाहता हूं, तो उनको कई महीने लग गए थे इस बात को और इस सदमे को डील करते हुए, क्योंकि उन्हें लगा था कि मैं कोई बहुत बड़ा कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट बनूंगा और बड़े सारे अवार्ड लेके आऊंगा उनके लिए. उन्हें आज भी यही लगता है. जब उन्हें पता है कि जैसे मैं अभी आप सबसे बात कर रहा हूँ, उन्हें एक बात तो ये समझ में नहीं आती है कि मेरी बात कोई सुनता क्यों है, राइट? और उनको ये लगता है. बट सो हमें ये समझना है कि और लोग क्या सोचते हैं हमारे कंट्रोल में नहीं है. हमारे कंट्रोल में ये है हम क्या सोचते हैं. आपको लगता है आपको किसी से बात करनी है, आप बेझिझक होके जाएं. आपको लगता है आपके परिवार में, आपके दोस्तों में, आप जहां काम कर रहे हैं वहां पे किसी को जरूरत है, तो आप उनको एनकरेज करें. अगर हम अपने अंदर बदलाव लाएंगे, समाज में अपने आप आएगा. वेट करते रह जाएंगे कि पहले समाज बदले फिर हम बदलेंगे, तो ये मुमकिन नहीं है.
Dr. Parekh, again, I want to say, it's such an inspiration listening to you that one can just go on and on. You are just, I think you are the medicine for us with the way you are responding. Thank you. There's this question that, is there any food that we can eat to reduce mental low or depression, like something that we can eat?
So we've not reached a place where we can say with absolute certainty the correlation of moods and whether a specific kind of food can actually make a difference in a very, very structured, biological, evidence-based manner. Right now, I'd say eat what you think you want to, what you like doing, as long as you take care of all your medical precautions. If at all you have illnesses, I'd still like to believe, I'm a Gujarati at the end of the day. Food is all that counts.
Food. Yeah, of course, you are a Gujarati. You don't even have to say. No, people, so there's this question that I'm due to leave my, of course, this is coming to you. The question, I'm due to leave my current employer due to join my new employer in 20 days of time frame. My current employer is asking me to stay back given the COVID-19 situation. I can't trust them. Do you suggest I should consider the retention offer? I'm not given any counter offer financially.
Take your own call. Ignore Corona. Ignore the fact that this is a short-term phase. So you don't take life's decisions based on cross-sectional triggers. You decide for yourself what you would have done had this phase not been there. Then go ahead and make that decision.
So do you feel that Samskriti, Sanskar, Lord Krishna and Bhagavad Gita and Sattvic food helps in this time?
I am not a person to answer questions which are not directly related to mental health, but I would like to say that faith from a mental health point of view is something that has always played a positive impact on most people's life. What your faith is, how you utilize your faith to strengthen your core values, your relationships is up to you. And I think so when people come to me with their thoughts about their faith or how it helps them, to be honest, I encourage it. Science doesn't need to be on the other side of faith. Science and faith going together. And you support. So I'll tell you that if you'll tell me that, I want to do my prayers and it makes me feel good, I'll say, go ahead and do that. But if I have prescribed you a medication, let's give importance to both. And that's the way to look at it. And I don't think only one form, one thought process. I think it's about the individual's faith. As long as values matter, as long as we are able to take care of our own values and are responsible societally, positivity is always welcome.
So someone is asking, I suffer from anxiety and I'm just constantly thinking about this COVID situation and I don't know when this is going to end and end up thinking and it gets worse and I get panic attacks, get worried about my kids and husband getting out of house post the lockdown, keep thinking. And then there are a lot of questions on the same, like similar. Is it keep thinking it's not okay to venture out without vaccine, which is a year away. It's just impractical, I know, but can't play it down and then fail to concentrate or do anything. So what do you suggest?
So you just ask yourself a very basic question. If you were having these anxieties before this entire episode has started, then we are looking at a more longitudinal component, which may be a part of anxiety. Anxiety disorders are common, about 250 odd million in the world. People in the world suffer from anxiety disorders, like 300 million people globally suffer from depression. So if something you're experiencing before this, I'd suggest you take medical opinion. If this has started just now, I'll suggest distract yourself, indulge into me time, indulge into things that make you feel good, talk to family and friends, give yourself a little bit of time. This will pass. And we all need to believe in it. This will pass.
So someone is saying, how do I deal and worry about having my wife and parents go to hospital, go into isolation and then pass away without being able to be on their side, by their side?
See, the thing is that in uncertain times, we will get very uncomfortable thoughts also. We need to help our mind stick to facts and positivity. Hypothetically, what you are asking applies to me as well, applies to Manoj, applies to Shraddha, applies to everybody else here. Now it's up to us to decide that in absence of any other thing happening in our life, should I worry about an apocalyptic future, or should I look at here and now, day after day, do my bit of taking care, and then see where it takes us?
Yeah. Rabindra is asking, how do we differentiate between common mental low and clinical depression?
Clinical depression, I mean, the word clinical has been added by people in conversations. For a person like me, depression is depression. So depression is a disorder, 300 million people globally, single largest illness as per WHO worldwide. At least 2 weeks or so of some of these symptoms put together: sadness of mood, loss of interest, loss of pressure, sleep, appetite related changes, hopeless, helpless, worthlessness, fatigue, feeling that life's not worth it, thoughts like that, not being able to concentrate, experiencing the disinterest. Some of these put together for 2 weeks or more, impairing your normal functioning of life, socially or occupationally or both. That's what depression is. Happens because of some chemical imbalances. That's why medications are used to correct those chemical imbalances. If there are also factors around your personality or around stresses around you, then various forms of psychotherapies would be advised to you. Most people recover well with depression, and it needs to be seen as a medical illness. Lows, on the other hand, are more. I may feel happy. All of these are emotions I go through. A transient, short-term emotion is not a disorder. A consistent pattern of that emotion impairing my life's functionality is where the problem is. If life is being impaired in a consistent manner because of perseverance of that symptom, that's a medical illness.
Okay, a lot of people are saying I should come back. So my video is on. I just switched it off because I thought we were getting stuck and the bandwidth might have been an issue. Dr. Parekh, you have answered so many questions and we are just feeling very, very, very thankful to you. So a question from me. So just going on record to say that I see psychiatrists regularly, not seen recently, but I see regularly and I do take medicine. There was this, for panic attacks, there was this SOS medicine because I have this flight phobia. So whenever you take a flight, then you just pop it up. And so in this time, do you recommend medicines, or people should not have medicines?
No, absolutely not. Okay. Absolutely not. You do for a real-time, real anxiety problem. I'd earlier given you the example of fire in the house. You don't pop in a pill and try to sleep because there's a fire in your house. You run away from your house, call people for help, and douse the fire. That's what you do. Right now, you stay in your home. Don't run out. Take care of your own self. Wait for the virus cycle, the curve to flatten. Things will be fine. But you do not pop in a pill.
Okay.
Unless advised by a doctor.
Doctor, a related question here. Despite every doctor's warning, people do self-medicate. So somebody's asked, a cousin of mine has been popping sedatives. We had to scold him for it. Do you think scolding is the right strategy, or how should we deal with somebody who's self-medicating at this point?
Multiple things. It's unfortunate that in today's time, he's able to procure them because we have very clear laws, very stringent laws. Increasingly, meds are not available. The whole fact that telemedicine is happening is because people can actually reach out to a doctor in these times to get a valid prescription. I think the problem is not merely in the individual, it's also in the supply. And we need to report and look into that. As far as the individual is concerned, let's look at any form of use, a habitual use or an addictive use as a part which could be an illness, whether it is gaming, whether it is prescription drugs, whether it is any of the other substances from caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, so on and so forth. See them the way it is, and then you go ahead and take medical support.
So, in fact, there are questions that I've been drinking a lot in this lockdown, nothing much to do, so drinking a lot. So do you think people are worried that they might just become addicted during this time?
My honest answer to this is I feel so bad that you say that I have nothing else to do and so I'm drinking. I just feel bad. I just had a lovely iced tea and before that I had some Nibu Pani. And world seems quite fine. You know, we are having a conversation. Go back home. There's family out there. We'll probably say chit chat. I mean, there's so much to do. Let's not allow ourselves to believe that alcohol is the answer to spending time, because it is not.
One thing I'd like to say here is this is a conversation we've been having within the team as well. Likely anything that you're going through during this lockdown and due to the COVID panic, please know that everybody else will be too, right? So if you just open up and speak up and talk to your friends and colleagues and family, you will find that you are not the only one going through this. You don't have to do this alone. Just like, find your kindred spirits. There'll be people who'll feel the same and you'll talk to them and you share what you're feeling and they'll share what they're feeling and you'll lighten each other's load and support each other. Don't drink, call somebody, talk to them. We're saving so much time and commitment.
But Manoj, I have to ask Dr. Parekh. Dr. Parekh, 1 glass of wine is okay, right, a day?
I'm not in a position to say that. As far as I am concerned, as a mental health professional, my answer is always the same. Say no every time. First time is every time. Say no always. And there is nothing called social use of substances. No to substances, always.
Okay.
Just checking if, since she's drinking 1 glass a day, is it okay?
No, actually, in the lockdown, I would have, but I don't have alcohol. So that's good. There's an increase in domestic violence, and we are reading a lot of reports on that. Any suggestion for helping those in these delicate situations?
I think domestic violence needs to be seen in the utmost serious way. And whether it happens because, during, or anything else, these factors do not count. Violence is violence. It cannot have place in a civil society. And we should do all that is in our control in terms of family support, social support, in terms of law enforcement, but domestic violence cannot be allowed to continue in the society.
Yeah. So thank you for that. A related question, again, another Hindi question from a MyUpchar viewer. They're asking, 24 घंटे घर पर ही रहने से क्या गुस्सा आना आम बात है, और जब गुस्सा आ रहा है तो क्या खूब सारा पानी पीना ठीक है?
पानी पीना सेहत के लिए अच्छा होता है, तो पानी तो आप पिया करें। मुझे नहीं लगता कि घर पे ज्यादा समय रहने से गुस्सा ज्यादा आता है। मुझे तो बहुत अच्छा लगता है। मुझे लगता है कि हम पे है कि हम अपने मन को कैसे हैंडल करते हैं, और हम अपनी आसपास के जो हमारे लोग हैं, जो हमारे प्रियजन हैं, जो हमारी परिवार है, हम उसके साथ जो पॉजिटिविटी एक्सपीरियंस करते हैं वो यूनिक है। और मैं बच्चों के साथ बहुत काम करता हूँ, मैं स्कूलों में बहुत लेक्चर्स लेता हूँ। मैं हमेशा से उनको कहता हूँ कि अगर आपका अपने पेरेंट्स के साथ रिलेशनशिप आपको लगता है बहुत अच्छा नहीं है, तो फ्रैंकली उससे बड़ा लॉस कोई नहीं है। इट्स ऑलवेज अ लॉस। सो रिलेशनशिप पे फोकस करें, आपको खुशी मिलेगी।
Thank you, sir. Shraddha, if I may, one more. I know you're the journalist and I'm the panelist, but
we are together. We are co-organizers. Manoj from MyUpchar, don't forget, you got me Dr. Sameer Parekh, and I owe you for this. So yes.
Okay, thank you so much. So we've been addressing questions for the general public quite a bit. There's a question from a clinical psychologist. She's asking, I'm a clinical psychologist working in a government hospital. Government ordered that government employees can't take off. Currently, I feel so anxious about COVID-19. I know that how to handle my fear, but I'm not handling the situation. Please guide me. So this is from somebody who's a healthcare worker themselves.
I'll give you, I'll speak to you one mental health profession to another. I am right now at my hospital, and I come to my hospital every day. Even though I am doing online consultations, but I'm doing them out of my hospital. I feel that my colleagues from internal medicine, pulmonology, ENT, people who are frontline warriors, my nursing staff, my support system in our hospitals, I owe it to them. It's with tremendous gratitude as to what they are doing, with tremendous gratitude. And I don't think I am going to be, since I believe I am, like you are, a healthcare practitioner. We are all in healthcare. And I think we just need to accept our responsibility and anxiety both. I'm not going to tell you how to deal with your anxiety. You're an expert in your light. But we go to work. We are healthcare practitioners. We work.
You know, Dr. Parekh, I think you should take one more role besides being a psychiatrist. You should become a motivational speaker.
Yes,
I'm genuinely saying that because you've been so positive for last 1 hour. Because I have one question before we end, and before you give us your coordinates and how everyone who's watched this can get in touch with you. I have a question. I always think, how do psychiatrists? Because whole day you listen to everyone's problem. And your whole life, if you've been in psychiatry for last 20 years or 24 years, every day everyone comes with problem. And if I in my office, if I listen to problems, then at night I just get exhausted sometimes, and you just want to not listen, but you do that whole day for years. How do you remain so positive, so channelized, and so you?
There are so many answers to this question, to be honest, but one of them being that the fact that you can help people, you are blessed.
Yeah.
The fact that you hear so many problems, and from your vantage point, once you reflect, you realize how kind life has been to you and the opportunity it gives you. So, and you accept it with humility. And let's be very clear. It's not that one doesn't have bad days. It's not that psychiatrists would not have anger outbursts or sadness or all other feelings that anybody else does. But at the same time, there is a training, there is an expert. And I've always believed if empathy is there, you'll be able to manage it. I think society has struggled because we've somewhere lost our connect and empathy.
Yeah.
I keep coming back to this. We are progressing at a faster pace than what we could have, given our values. And I believe that when I look back at my schooling years, the periods that we used to find and mock about as a child was the moral science period. I used to have twice a week. When I look back at my life, I think those works, those periods have actually made a bigger impact than trigonometry and calculus, which I absolutely never understood. So values, if you stick to values, if you stick to your collective responsibility, then the world can be a wonderful place.
Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Parekh. Now, for all the viewers who watched, if they want to get in touch with you, then how can they connect?
So you can reach out to us. We are Fortis Mental Health and Behavioral Sciences. We have a helpline. Feel free to call us anytime, 24/7. It's 838-680-4102. Anybody can call anytime. We are on Telegram, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. I hope you use social media as less as possible. But if you are fortunate to use it, then follow us.
One thing I'd like to just add here on behalf of Dr. Parekh is that despite the lockdown and despite all the troubles getting around, Dr. Parekh's team is still there. They're still doing teleconsultations and they've capped their consultations to a significantly lower level than what it is normally to help people. So if there are people who are just feeling anxious because of the situation, and there are those who actually need who need medical help right now. So they can reach out to Dr. Parekh. Teleconsultations are on and they do help out.
Yeah, and how do we, and this teleconsultation for that, Manoj, do we log into My Upchar?
So we'll be very happy to facilitate teleconsultations with Dr. Parekh. You can download My Upchar's app and we'll enable it. But you can also directly reach out to Dr. Parekh's team. If you just log on to their social media, you'll see posters there, or just search for Fortis Mental Health Program and you'll land on their page where you'll find details on teleconsultation.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Doctor, before we let you go, because you have been so helpful, this last question I can't not ask you. how to deal with daily boredom. We're all bored. So many questions have come on boredom. How do you deal with that?
There is so much in life. How do you find time to get bored? Look at plants, look at leaves, look at flowers, look at the sky, write, read, music, films, friends, poetry. It's endless.
I have a better question. जो लोग बोर हो रहे हैं, please tell me where are you finding the time to get bored? I'm working longer.
That's true, Manoj. That's true.
Efficiency has gone down. So to do the same amount of thing, I'm having to spend 50% more time. So I'm sleeping less now. I was never good at keeping up with my sleep. I'm sleeping less now that I'm working from home. So I'm like waiting for office to open up so that I can sleep.
Okay, but thank you so much, Dr. Parekh. What a pleasure, what a delight, and we are so grateful that so generously you shared information, knowledge, answer, and with such great smile. Thank you. Thanks a lot. And Manoj, thank you for making this happen. We love My Upchar, and we will be downloading the app and getting in touch with Dr. Parekh. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you both. Thank you.